Hello and welcome to today's live video. Today we're exploring how to recognize the symptoms when you're feeling emotionally depleted. Over the past couple of weeks, I've been sharing my findings and how easy it is to become emotionally overinvested in our personal relationships through my own personal experience of recent times. This overinvestment can leave us feeling emotionally depleted, often without understanding the why behind it. So today I'm going to be talking about the signs that you should watch for when you're worn out and you're feeling emotionally depleted. My purpose is to help you recognize these signs before you reach that breaking point and guide you in reflecting on and discovering the reasons behind them. So, and understanding these signs is really crucial for you to maintain your overall well-being and to ensure your energy levels stay high. Hi, I'm Leslie Gaudet, self-care strategist for female entrepreneurs. I specialize in systems that transform daily stress and constant overwhelm into clarity and calm, while also creating space for personal fulfillment, ensuring you're present for life's important moments, both in business and beyond. Through my own self-development journey, I have learned that successfully managing my own personal and professional life requires more than just technical skills. It really involves ongoing growth and learning. I'm all about that. And so today I want to share with you how recognizing your emotional investment in your relationships can help you significantly enhance your life. So I'd like to start by sharing a personal experience where I felt emotionally depleted due to my relationships. If you've been watching for the last few weeks, I spoke about how last September, after the loss of my youngest brother, I found myself trying to be emotionally present for everyone else, my family, my husband, my clients, my friends, people in my life, new opportunities, new things that I was doing, all while neglecting my own needs. This took a significant toll on my emotional well-being. I was constantly tired. I was irritable. I felt disconnected from my own emotions. Each day I felt like it was a struggle just to get through that day. And it was really hard because I didn't know what to do. I had no idea, as I'd shared in previous lives, I had no idea what was really going on. I didn't know, like I was in a phase of burnout, but I didn't understand where it was coming from. Despite trying to keep it together for everybody else, I found myself running on empty. And it wasn't until I realized that I was overinvesting emotionally without taking time to charge or recharge my own batteries that I could start making changes in how I managed my time around my personal relationships. For instance, I would often find myself snapping at my husband over small things or feeling overwhelmed by tasks that usually wouldn't faze me. My patience was thin and my ability to cope with stress was significantly diminished. I was so focused on being there for everyone else that I didn't even recognize how much it was costing me emotionally and my energy. Eventually, I had that epiphany that I've spoken about. I needed to prioritize my own well being and establish emotional boundaries around my time. It really does come back down to time management. This meant allowing myself, of course, to grieve because I hadn't really taken that time to grieve the loss of my brother because I was being there for everyone else, especially my mom. I was being the strong one, to hold her up and help her through it. But I needed that. I needed the time to allow myself to grieve and to process my own feelings without feeling guilty for not always being available for everyone else. I learned that taking time to recharge isn't a selfish act, but it really is necessary for my mental and emotional health. This experience taught me the importance of self-awareness and the need to recognize when our emotional reserves are running low. And when you acknowledge and address emotional depletion, what I found that I was able to rebuild my strength. I'm still doing this. I'm still going through the process and continue still to support my loved ones in a healthier, more sustainable way because I'm taking care of me. I am, as they would say, filling my cup daily to make sure that my energy is always enough, not only just for myself, but for other people, but also for me. So last week I shared this analogy with you, and I wanted to share it again this week because I think it's a great analogy, a great idea around like what I'm talking about when it comes to energy depletion. So think about a time when you've used your device, like your mouse or your remote control for your TV, and your batteries, it starts to fail. Like your mouse stops working for a second, so you like either you take the batteries out, you put them back in, or you tap on it. The same for your remote control for your TV. They start losing their charge. And at first, you might even, like I said, open the case. You might fiddle with the batteries. You might tap on the device, and then you're going to close it back up again, and they work a little bit longer, right? They do continue to work a little bit longer, and we keep doing this hoping to get more battery life until the batteries are completely used up. This is what's happening to us when we allow our energy to be drained. It's what happened to me. I kept tapping into my energy stores, hoping to keep going a little bit longer until I was completely depleted and emotionally drained. So instead of changing out the batteries, or in my case, taking time to recharge and reset, taking time for myself, I just kept pushing through. I just really found myself over the past 8 months, just moving on, keep moving one foot in front of the other, even though I was emotionally depleted. So when you don't set those boundaries around your time and you allow your relationships to continually drain you, you'll end up like those depleted batteries. And that's why it's really important for you to recognize when your energy is running low, so that you take those proactive steps to recharge. So I want to explore some common signs and symptoms that indicate emotional depletion, because recognizing these signs is really, especially if you recognize them early, can help you take those proactive steps to manage your emotional well-being, get back on track, keep yourself from going all the way to emotional burnout, which is, as I said, where I found myself. So the first one is lack of motivation. When motivation wanes, your tasks become more challenging. You might struggle to find the energy to complete even the simplest of activities. And over time, this lack of motivation can lead to emotional exhaustion, leaving you drained and disinterested in things that once brought you joy. I recently had a conversation with someone that I know who has found herself in this particular place where she has a lack of motivation. Now, she has a lot of other things going on in her life, which really can be contributing to this feeling. But for all sakes and purposes, if it's just, let's, for example, say that you are putting a lot of emotional time and energy into supporting other people, and you find yourself feeling like really drained, and you find yourself feeling like you just don't feel like doing things, your motivation is lacking, then it could be that the sign is that you're in an emotional burnout phase. The second one is trouble sleeping. So sleep, if you have disturbances in your sleep, it can affect your physical and your emotional well-being. Insomnia or disrupted sleep patterns can leave you feeling fatigued and irritable. And it's because your body is and your mind is not getting the rest that they need in order to recharge. So your brain needs that time, to feel like when you wake up in the morning, you want to feel that energy. You want to feel energized to step into whatever your day looks like, whatever you've got planned for your day. But when your sleep is interrupted, even if you go to bed at the same time and get up at the same time, but you find yourself waking up exhausted, that just means that there's something going on that's interrupting your sleep. And that's a moment for you to maybe take a step back and start reflecting on what's going on in your life to see if you can get to the root cause. Now, the third one is irritability. This is a sign that your emotional resources are depleted. You become more sensitive to stressors, and you react strongly even just to the smallest of things. So, again, you basically feel like you're on your last nerve because you're just so drained. So when you find yourself in this place, is another indicator to actually take a step back to figure out what is really going on in your life that could be causing you to be irritable at the smallest of things that normally wouldn't faze you, but you find yourself in this particular place. The fourth one is physical fatigue. So physical fatigue will drain your energy reserves. You feel sluggish. Even the routine tasks become really painful, arduous. You feel consistently like you're pushing through your fatigue, and that you're just drained. And emotional burnout is looming on the horizon. So again, it's taking time to step it back and really reflect on where you're at. And why you're feeling this way, because when you are feeling this way, it's an indicator that something else is going on in your life that is the root cause. A lot of people don't even recognize that burnout could be the root cause. They're just looking at the symptoms, thinking that that's the cause of it. But typically it's, if you're saying lack of motivation is because you're tired, well, tired really could be just a symptom of the burnout. So it's really like taking a real closer look and figuring that out, like what it is that's causing it. And the last one I wanted to say, like, is the difficulty concentrating, because we know concentration requires mental focus, it's effort. And when we're depleted, we struggle, right, to focus on things. It affects our productivity. And so we have to find out, like, why are we feeling that we're disconnected and we can't concentrate, we can't focus. Again, it's not just the symptoms of being tired and overwhelmed or procrastinating. These are things that could be the signs of emotional burnout phase. And so you want to really take that closer look. So some other additional signs that you can look for are like feelings of hopelessness, where it really does sap your emotional energy, because your optimism, you lose your optimism, you struggle to cope with challenges. Maybe you become absent-minded, and that could be just an indicator of cognitive strain, because your mental resources are stretched thin. Apathy, this is where a lack of emotional responsiveness, like I talked about last week, that you just feel like you're in that moment of you just don't care. You're disconnected from your feelings because you're at that particular place. Like I said, you're at your last nerve, if you will. And you might even lose interest in what's going on around you. Headaches, as I said, I have experienced headaches. So frequent headaches can be stress related, and they drain your energy and your focus. So it's really like paying attention. Change in your appetite. You might overeat, you might seek comfort in the food that you eat, or you might even lose interest in food altogether, depending on whether you're nervous, if you're a nervous eater, or if a stress eater, or if you're someone who just, when you're stressed, you can't eat. I know that when I'm upset, I can't eat, but when I'm stressed, I stress eat. Nervousness is another sign, when you become hyper alert and you're anticipating that things are going to go wrong. You might even be irrationally angry because you're reacting impulsively, and that can lead to strange relationships. Increased cynicism or pessimism, because you start to lose faith in positive outcomes. So you're looking for the negative. Sense of dread, you're always looking for something to go wrong, like you're living in that fear state. And then depression could set in, where you feel that overwhelmed feeling, feel hopeless, and you have no joy. So those are just some things that I wanted you to think about as you reflect. If you're in this state right now, these are things to think about, like, where are you at? Because these are signs for you to actually step it back a second, take a bird's eye view of what's going on around in your life, so that you are not allowing yourself to continue down the road and finding yourself in this place of full emotional burnout. And when you find yourself in full emotional burnout, this is where you're going to find that you're not going to be able to do a lot. You're going to have to step things back a little bit. And that's where I found myself. So that's why I want to share this with you. So I want to share with you a tip to combat the emotional depletion, so you can manage your energy and your motivation better, especially if you find yourself in a state of lack of motivation. When you're feeling emotionally depleted, it can be challenging to stay motivated and keep your energy levels high. So managing your energy effectively is really important for maintaining your motivation and preventing yourself furthering or going down into a burnout phase. It's crucial also for maintaining your motivation and, again, as I said, preventing full-on burnout. By understanding your energy patterns and working with them, you can boost your productivity and your overall well-being. Again, if you find yourself at the stage where I found myself at full on emotional burnout, you are going to have to take some time to really allow yourself to recharge. I found myself in a place where I couldn't do anything. I just didn't feel like I was doing the bare minimum, what I could do. I had already planned for it. So the things were ready to go. I didn't have to do any additional work. But it was very hard to actually want to get into the flow of doing the other things that were also things I wanted to do, but I just felt at that place where I just couldn't manage it. So it's really important for you to think about this. So a simple strategy around this is, there's like a couple of things that I want to share with you, 4 things. The first one is identifying your peak energy times. I think this is really important, especially if you lack motivation. And again, first going through and recognizing the signs and getting to the root cause of where your burnout is coming from, and taking time to recharge your batteries and putting in that effort for self-care. You also want to make sure you identify your peak energy times, because this is where you have the most energy throughout your day. Like, are you a morning person, for example? And find yourself more engaged in the morning, where your tasks, you can do your tasks in the morning with greater ease, because you're more focused. And then maybe in early afternoon, that's an admin tasks time, because you are lower energy, and then you find picking back up again into the later part of the day. So it's really paying attention to your natural rhythms and planning your most important tasks during these peak energy times. Number two, break your tasks into smaller steps. When your motivation is low, large tasks can really feel overwhelming. So when you break them into smaller, more manageable steps, it makes them feel more achievable, and that can help you build momentum as you complete each step. Number three, use the Pomodoro technique, or some technique where you are finding yourself working for a little bit and then taking a break, and then working a little bit and then taking a break. I talked about are you a sprinter or a marathoner? Some people who are sprinters, like myself, the Pomodoro effect technique really works well, because it has us working for 25 minutes and we take a 5-minute break, and we repeat this pattern until we do this 3 or 4 times, I believe. And then I haven't used this particular technique myself, but I have been using it where I'm going an hour, and then I'm taking like a longer break. But for the sake and purposes of the Pomodoro technique, you work for 25 minutes, you take a 5-minute break, and then you repeat this pattern. And then on the 4th time, you take a longer break, and then you can repeat the process over again. It helps you maintain your focus, and it helps prevent that burnout, and ensuring that you get those regular rest periods and you're replenishing your energy. Like I said, as a sprinter myself, I can work for, like, say, an hour, and then I'll take like 15-minute breaks. I do also incorporate longer breaks throughout my day, 30-minute breaks throughout my day, just so that I can recharge, because I just know my energy levels. I've learned this. It's just from trial and error. And again, it's going to take time until you start to realize it. But when you start paying attention to how you're feeling, those are going to be indicators. You're going to realize, like, who you are, how you process things, and you're going to learn that by taking control of managing your time, how you expend your energy around your relationships, the time that you will put towards those relationships where people may feel like a little bit draining. You will find that you will have more energy, you will take better care of yourself, and you'll show up in those relationships better, because you will have had those boundaries for yourself, but you also will have learned to express those boundaries to those people as well. And I believe in the policy of being honest about how you feel, not about blaming and being accusatory, but just letting people know that I need some time to replenish my energy. And so if you're on the telephone call, like I shared last week, and you're with somebody who's constantly getting into the same story, you can say, look, I've got about 10 minutes. I really need to go, just because I haven't had much time for myself, and I need to really take care of my self-care. And I just need to take some time to re-energize myself, to just recharge my batteries. And you leave it at that. Number 4 is incorporating energizing activities in your day that boost your energy and your motivation. It could be a quick walk. As I said, I like to go for long walks, at least 30 minutes, maybe some light stretching. Stretching is great, gets the blood moving. Listening to your favorite music makes you feel really good. It's a feel-good activity. Even taking a short nap, right? Taking a short nap is really good. Even that cat nap, 30-minute cat nap, is really great for you, because it does recharge you. They can recharge your batteries, and they help you stay motivated. I just want you to remember that managing your energy and your motivation is all about working with your natural rhythms, and giving yourself the breaks you need to stay refreshed. When you implement the strategies that I've shared with you, you can maintain your energy levels, keeping your motivation high and preventing emotional depletion. Now, before we wrap up today, I want to encourage you to take a moment to reflect on your own experiences and how they relate to what I've discussed today with you. So here's a few questions to consider. Have you identified when you have the most energy during the day? Are you scheduling your most important tasks during these peak times? I know not every day we're going to be able to do this, because unfortunately, sometimes meetings might take place or projects might come up that might be in a non-peak energy time. So in those instances, that's when you want to make sure that you have longer breaks incorporated so that you can stay at your high level energy level. Okay, so those energy peaks, identifying them when you is really important when you have the most energy. Number two is task management. When you're faced with a large task, do you break it smaller, manageable steps? And how does this impact you and your motivation and your productivity when you do this? Number three is taking breaks. I will sing this from the moon, the rooftops, from the mountaintops, that taking breaks is so essential, whether you are a sprinter or a marathoner. Go back and watch the video because I talked about it a couple of weeks ago. But if you are, take working on projects, things that are really intense, you really need to take those breaks. So are you incorporating those breaks into your day to recharge? And what activities help you boost your energy during these breaks? I'm going to make sure that I put these questions below the video because I really want you to take these to heart and really think about your own self-care, which leads me to number 4, self-care. How often do you engage in activities that energize and motivate you? Are these activities a regular part of your routine? So I want you to take some time to think about these questions and how they apply to your own life. And when you reflect on them, they can help you identify areas where you might need to make adjustments to better manage your energy and maintain your motivation, but to maintain your energy overall. And when you recognize and you address your emotional depletion as a crucial step towards maintaining your overall well-being, you're going to find that you become more self-aware. You start looking at the signs as things to stop and contemplate and really think about, like, where am I at? What's going on in my life? Why do I feel this way? Taking the time to do that will allow you to really keep yourself from going into those further burnout stages. Aside from the reflective questions today that I've left you with, I want to offer a more personalized support. I'm currently working on a workshop around emotional burnout, and I want to hear from you. You might be experiencing signs of emotional burnout, such as feeling constantly drained, emotionally exhausted, or depleted. Maybe you're feeling disconnected, even lacking motivation. So, with that being said, I'm conducting short 20-minute market research calls to gather your experiences, which will help shape a workshop tailored to address these issues. The insights I gather from my market research calls will help me tailor the content to meet the specific needs of those who participate in the workshop. And your input would be incredibly valuable and appreciated. So why participate? You get to influence a workshop tailored to your needs. You get to gain early access to exclusive resources. When I have exclusive things, if I have programs that come up, you would get exclusive access to that. It's only 20 minutes of your time. I promise you, I stay true to time because I know that time is important. It's a valuable commodity. It's probably, I believe, our most valuable commodity. Your story matters to me, and I would be extremely grateful. And also, you'll receive a gift from me for participating, which is a tool to help you with emotional triggers. So if that sounds like something you'd be open to doing with me, send me a message or drop a comment below saying me, and I will send you my booking link. Your well-being is important, and sometimes we need a little support to manage our emotional investments. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks for joining me today. Until next time, be kind to yourself. Extend yourself some grace if you find yourself in this place of emotional depletion. And remember that you have the power to create a balanced and fulfilling life, one step at a time. Take care and see you next time.